based on when Trump is assassinated or impeached. And for him, it could be either one. The guy's not made a lot of friends.
Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans and present danger to our democracy.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Hello friends, in today's video we're gonna spend some time listening to a prophecy. Now there's a lot in this to work with, and this is only a segment to start a conversation about the possibility of something like this to take place. So what am I talking about? All right, let me introduce you once again. I mentioned this channel before and I'll mention it again. This is Rob Berhoff. All right, I plan on sitting down with Rob and talk because we are connected, and he's coming to the channel soon. Rob Berhoff has some videos on his YouTube channel that are very, very interesting, and I would say something to think about and even pray about. And the title of the videos that I'm not gonna watch the entire thing. We're gonna give you a segment of that today. It is there a hidden book? And he speaks about the hidden book, a prophetic hidden book in the Apocrypha that Ellen White made mention. And he has a prophecy in there that he begins to break down. And as he breaks down the prophecy, what he shows, there is a prophecy in the Bible showing that our elected president, which is President Donald Trump, according to what's in that book, based on the interpretation of the prophecy, will be assassinated. Now, I'm in no way saying this is 100% fact. All I'm simply saying is it is written in the book, and when he breaks it down for you, you see it and you say, whoa, whoa. Before we discredit and disregard this, we should pray, hoping that this is not the case, but it could possibly be. There could be a number of reasons. As you saw in the start of this video, assassination attempts of Donald Trump has been tried before. And I don't think these were the last ones. So things could go really, really crazy in the year 2025. The inauguration is happening on January 20th, if that. And I could say a lot. I'm going to let the man explain in the first 11 minutes and 27 seconds. Listen, this is not the entire breakdown. I did a playlist, watch till the end, and I'm going to share a playlist with you of the 3 parts where he breaks it down very, very well done. And he began with the passage found in Manuscript Releases, page 34, paragraph 3. This is the passage I saw that the Apocrypha was the hidden book, and that the wise in the last days should understand it. And I saw that the Bible was the standard book that will judge us at last. This is Ellen White's writing. And now you have to ask yourself, which book in the Apocrypha? Because there's a whole bunch. There's some that are not in the Bible. There's reasons for that. They contradict scriptures, and other ones we can go on. But the man breaks it down for you. He shows you which book it is, which prophecy it is, and how it is to be fulfilled. And this is what I will say. He's coming to the channel to break this down also, but I'm going to put a playlist of those 3 studies so that you have a fuller and better context of what is being shared today. This is only an 11-minute video. Listen, to fully understand this, you need to watch at least an hour and a half of his presentation to have the full context. So I want to make sure I made that abundantly clear. But the purpose of this video is not to make a declaration as if these things are going to be exactly. But what the man is showing in this video, based on his research and study, based on what he sees in the books, okay, that either there's going to be an impeachment or an assassination of President Trump. And would you ask the question, is that even a possibility? Is that something that could happen? The question is, has there been any attempts of that before? If God does not intervene, friends, this will be the case. And what he went on to say is this will go into a civil war. Because you need to hear what this man is saying. This is just a part of it. And then share some thoughts in the end. Take a listen.
Hello friends, Rob Bertholf here with a final prophecy update, what I believe is the final prophecy we receive. This is related to, if you're paying attention to the news, the recent assassination attempt against Donald Trump. This is a continuation from the Hidden Book series. So I put out 3 videos on the Hidden Book. If you haven't watched those yet, it's just a quick refresher. We've seen in inspiration that there is a hidden book in the Apocrypha, and that the wise in the last days would understand it. Why are the wise in the last day? Because it tells us when the final movements happen. The final movements being the Sunday law. The book itself, if you just to skip ahead, the book itself is actually the 4th book of Ezra. So Ezra has his first 2 books, and Ezra 3 and 4 is also called 1st and 2nd Esdras. So 2nd Esdras is this 4th book, which was identified, which I have identified anyways, as the hidden book discussed by Ellen White. In this book, in the final chapters, it speaks of a final prophecy of this eagle with 3 heads, very similar to a Daniel and Revelation style prophecy. And in this, each of the feathers are a kingdom, rooted in the longest feather, which gave us the starting point, being Roosevelt. Watch the video for the whole breakdown of this. What that puts us at is that we now have 4 presidents remaining in the United States, which brings us to there'll be an even 50 presidents in the United States before it collapses. Based on this, we find that the next 2 presidents will be either assassinated or impeached. And then there will be 2 simultaneous presidents. And so again, watch the whole video to get the entire context of this. But what we're seeing is a more and more likelihood that this is the truth. So for this prophecy to be true, Biden cannot have a second term. That's the first piece. But Biden must also finish a first full term. So again, Biden must finish a first full term, which he says very clearly he has no plans of leaving. Second, he cannot be elected for this prophecy to be true. And it shows very clearly there's no way he's going to be reelected. Next, the next president will be cut short. That could be assassination. It could be impeached. What we just saw is with the assassination attempt at Trump, that there is a desire to remove Trump from a potential presidency. We can see this here in the different videos. For this prophecy to be true, we also need the vice president to be cut short. And then there will be 2 simultaneous presidents in the United States. This is likely due to a civil war. We see that the civil war is fairly imminent. This was also prophesied, predicted back in 1863, that there would be yet larger distresses. And again, I'm moving through this quickly. This is covered in a previous course. What this means and why I want to reinforce this. It seems very likely that Trump will be the next president. If this is the case, showing that there is now a first assassination attempt against Trump, it won't be the last. Based on when Trump is assassinated or impeached, and for him it could be either one. The guy's not made a lot of friends. Either way, the length of the presidency, understand this point, this is the whole point of the video, the only reason I recorded this, I just want to reinforce this. The length of his presidency will dictate the maximum length of the following presidency. So what I mean by that is, if he lasts 2 years as president, then his vice president, which would be likely the ones that would step in, right? The vice president would last less than 2 years. After that period of time, there'll be a civil war. There'll be 2 presidents who think to reign but do not. And then the Pope will step in, create a theocracy, and there'll be a national Sunday law. So again, if that, just to look at dates here, again, this is kind of just looking at general dates. We understand the 2024 election is happening in a few months. Then the president will take office in January 2025. If he lasts for 2 years, that would put him at 2027, which would mean that the Sunday law would come around, before 2029. It would have to be before 2029. This is why the prophecy is important. It's just, if those that are paying attention will have that last call to really get your house in order. And again, we're not talking about your heart in order. That needs to happen already. But if you're wondering, when do I move? When do I sell? When do I do different things? This will be the cue for us on when to know when we have, 2 years left, as an example. However, if Trump is only in office for 1 year and is either assassinated or impeached, then we would have less than 1 year until the Civil War in the United States, and less than 1 year until the Sunday law. So again, this is why it's so important to understand this prophecy, is that it will be the warning sign to us when the next president is assassinated or impeached. And it doesn't have to be Donald Trump to make this prophecy true. It just cannot be Biden, because that would make the prophecy false. The next president, when they are cut short, as the prophecy says, then there will be less than that amount of time until everything falls apart. And so again, in order for the prophecy to be fulfilled, Biden must finish a full term, but cannot be reelected. The next presidents will be cut short. Their vice president will be cut short. 2 simultaneous presidents in the United States, and then the United States becomes a theocracy where the Pope will step in. So the Pope becomes our president, essentially. In order to bring the country back together, the Pope becomes the president of the United States. Interestingly enough, right after that, the USA will collapse. And this is when we read in Revelation, it says, the merchants stand afar off. When the Pope steps in, everyone will want that. And then no one's going to want it, because the whole thing's going to collapse. Then we read that China will defeat Russia, and then China will implode. Okay, that's not the point. The point is this. We need, for my brothers and sisters in the United States, we need to be understanding of what's coming. This does not mean to flee the United States, but this means to prepare for what is coming. A.T. Jones, in 1901, after defeating the Sunday law, did write this quote: "The day is coming when every Seventh-day Adventist in the United States would give everything that he has and his life almost if he could get outside of the United States." Let me say that again. I'm speaking something now that interests every Seventh-day Adventist. The day is coming, and not far off, when every Seventh-day Adventist will wish the depths of their soul that they were out of the United States, and multitudes will condemn themselves and fret themselves under condemnation that they did not go out of the United States when they had a chance. And again, this is a message that, to take into prayer, and to see, does God have work for you in other fields? Maybe God wants you to be there and you can handle it. But this is just a message from A.T. Jones. We do read in Counsels on Stewardship that God calls upon those who have possessions and lands and houses to sell and invest the money where it will be supplying the great wants in the missionary field. When once they have experienced the real satisfaction that comes from thus doing, they will keep the channel open and active, and the means the Lord entrusts them will be constantly flowing into the treasury, that souls may be converted. This is just another piece that this does not mean that we need to start, prepping, right, hoarding up things. But this is a message that we need to be thinking about. How can I just go all in for God? Because your lands, your properties that you have in the United States, when the Civil War starts, will probably be worth nothing. And when the economy completely collapses, watch my video on the dollar de-dollarization. Look, this is not supposed to be a scare tactic. You do have a few years left, so don't make a move today, but start working in prayer. Start moving forward. Understand that there is major shifts happening in the United States, and we have not a lot of time left. I think we likely have less than 2 to 3 years is what we have left. So use that time wisely. And again, I'm not predicting when Jesus will return. Jesus will return, as Mark 4:29 says, when the fruits are ripe. When Christ's Object Lesson 69.1 says, when the character of Christ is perfectly reproduced, he'll come and claim us as his own. So again, not talking about the second coming of Christ. I'm talking about the collapse of the United States, friends. And I'm talking about an imminent Sunday law. And I'm saying it's time to get ready. More importantly than getting ready with our lands is getting ready with our hearts. Do not delay a personal relationship with Jesus. We can be fully ready with off-grid properties outside the United States, but if we don't have a personal relationship with Christ, it will not matter. And so this is something that I'm working on, is having a deeper love relationship with Christ, and then using that relationship to be able to show love to others. Because I recognize in my life that I have a lot of hurt and wounds, especially from the Adventist Church, especially from people, that claim to be Adventists, have given me a lot of wounds. And so I'm realizing that I need to then heal. And this is this opportunity now. We need to heal so we can be good neighbors. When this time comes of a civil war, and we are so partisan or we're so hurt by different groups, we are going to be ineffective at being light bearers and demonstrating the character of Christ. Because that is what the whole great controversy is even about, is just being a light bearer and demonstrating the character of Christ and showing others who God is. Jesus came to the earth to show who the Father is, and now there needs to be a people prepared to stand who are willing to show who the Father is through their lives. But that has to come with a love relationship. So do not take this video as fear, but definitely, friends, take this video as a wake-up call. We do not have much time left. Don't get involved in the right versus left, because it's all the same Jesuit Hegelian dialectic, my friends. So don't get involved with right versus left. Understand that we need to come away from this partisan viewpoints, and we need to focus on Christ and figure out how we can bridge the gap between Christ and those that need his love.
Yeah, man, this is serious business right here. Serious business. And friends, I'm telling you, I'm not saying this could never be, but from the way things look like, if God does not intervene, this will be the result. You don't need a hidden book to actually make this prediction. Just look at the history and look at some of the discussion that's already happening from a political perspective. For example, Tucker Carlson in this video made the same prediction that the only thing that's left, right? The only thing that's left, right, in the playbook of the enemies of Trump is exactly that.
Are they going to let Trump be president?
No, of course. I mean, look, if, they protested him, they called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times, and every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him. I don't know where it's going, but there's a collision that's clearly imminent. I don't know, man. I've never been this worried about anything as I am about where this is going.
Friends, if these words are true based on what he's been shared here in this book, Lord have mercy on us as a country. Friends, one thing is true. Irrespective of how a person feels about Donald Trump, there are some people who really don't like this man. There's some people who want to see him gone. And if you've seen any of our videos about the Jesuits, what they've done in the past, their involvement in politics, and how they've dealt with their enemies, Lord have mercy. Now, somebody may say Trump he's been, Jesuit trained and so on, but I will say slow down a little bit. Slow your roll. It's darker than that. But anyway, friends, I would like to hear from you what you think about this. Could this be a possibility? Do you see it? Friends, I see it. I'm not saying I believe every word in this prophecy. I'm wrestling with this. What I'm saying is just in the air, just history, just the many attempts on his life tells me that somebody's not going to stop, right? It's not going to just stop all of a sudden. And this will change the world. If this were to take place, it will change our society, not for the best, I will say for the worse. It's time to pray. It's time to seek God's face on this matter when it comes to this situation. If this is a possibility, if this is the case, Lord have mercy on us. In the testimonies for the church, we are told that great changes are soon to take place in our world, and that the final movements will be rapid ones. And guess what? Changes are about to take place. Whether we agree with it or not, things are not going to get better. They're going to get worse before they get better. Only God knows what the result will be. Anyway, friends, share your thought and perspective with me. Do you think that's a possibility for Mr. Trump to be unalived or maybe impeached? And after that, whoever is the next in line, which will be J.D. Vance, there is a possibility of him being impeached or unalive as well. Could these things be? Well, let's have the conversation. We don't know, but at least we should start considering asking some questions. Last but not least, I would say we need to be praying for God's will to be done. Anyway, friends, much more could be said. Share your thought and perspective with me in the end. I would like to hear from you. Check out this playlist, check out this video. Make sure you share with me what your perspective here in the comment below. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.